Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Today, our group will present about understanding Islamic misinformation on social media. Our group member consists of 6 people. First one is me, Muhammad Izon Izaidi. Second one is Iril Amshah. The next one is Nur Waini. And fourth one is Alif Amiru. The fifth one is Ahmad Anas. And the sixth is Adli Amin. Our presentation consists of 5 chapters. The first one is background, and literature. The next one is literature review, research methodology, finding and discussion, and lastly is discussion, suggestion, and limitation. For the first chapter is background. The introduction is the study investigates the prevalence and effect of false religious information, which focus on Islam among Malaysian internet users. As we all know, in this digital age, false information is easily spread across the internet. So this study was meant to promote a peaceful and informed society. It is crucial to understand the causes of this problem and find practical solutions as social media increasingly shape public perception. So let's move on to the problem statement. The first one is, what is religious misinformation? Second one is, how do social media platforms contribute to the spread of misinformation? The next one is, how does Islamic misinformation affect the Muslim community? And the last one is, what are the effective strategies for countering and preventing misinformation involving religious belief? So from the problem statement, we can set a few objectives. The first one is define religious information. The second one is identify the factors that contribute to the spread of religious misinformation on social media. And the next one is analyze the impact of Islamic misinformation on the Muslim community. And the last one is develop effective strategies for countering and preventing the spread of religious misinformation. At the end of this study, there are few significance that we expect to achieve. The first one is to understand what religious misinformation is. The second one is to investigate how social media like Facebook and Twitter helps misinformation to spread. The third one is to explore how misinformation about Islam affects the Muslim community. And the last one will be to figure out effective way to stop religious misinformation from spreading and how to prevent it.
First article is Islam and social media attitudes and view. The first subtopic is the way people discuss about Islamic topics. Nowadays, social media is a common thing among people around the world. Sometimes they used to spread Islam, discussing about Islam, like sharing something interesting they found about Islam and internet with their Muslim friend, and so on. Muslim people use social media to connect with their other Muslim friends around the world, like in Kazakhstan and so on. This also will improve their English when they find new friend and they need to talk in common language, which is English. And for the second subtopic is social media is a positive tool for promoting Islam, for promoting Muslim. Social media is positive tool for promoting Muslim. The attitude shown by the Muslim people will encourage others about Islam. Facebook is the main social media nowadays that most of the Muslim people use to share all the things that related to Islam. So for the second article is false information on web and social media. Type of false information for intent can be categorized into two, which are misinformation, which is not intent to deceive, and disinformation, intent to deceive. For knowledge content also can be divided into two, which are telling opinion based on their perspective and telling fact that cannot be denied. False information is spread by bad actors like bots and sock puppets, and because people in their social bubble find it hard to tell what's false. It's also tricky to spot horses and fake reviews. So it is really important for everyone to know these issues and be aware of how they work to stop false information from spreading around the world. False information on the web and social media can mislead people, leading to wrong beliefs and decisions, which can harm them and erode trust while hindering problem solving. Factors like sensational content, trust in e-sources, and lack of time for fact-checking contribute to this issue. A 2018 survey by Kumar and Shah categorized false information, show how it spreads, and stresses the importance of being aware and thinking critically to tackle the problem.
The impact of social media on Muslim society. On the good side, social media help Muslims connect with each other from all over the world and learn more about their faith. It also gives them a place to share their culture and build community. In the past, it was hard for Muslims to connect with each other because of where they live, but now social media make it easy. There are even special forums on social media where Muslims can talk about Islam and learn from each other. According to Islam TMD 2019, unlike the time-consuming process of finding friends in real life, social media can be built more easily than a friend circle. On the bad side, social media is also a place where people spread false information about Islam, and this can lead to people misunderstanding Islam and being prejudiced against Muslims and even becoming extremists. It can also cause conflict and division between different groups of people, and this is a big problem because it makes it hard for people to trust online content and find accurate information. Combating misinformation on social media. In the fight against false information on social media, three key players come into action. First is a government and regulatory bodies play a significant role by making rules that hold social media platforms accountable for spreading wrong information and ensuring that content follow the law. They also support educational programs to help people spot what's true and what's not. And content creator and influencer are the next hero in this battle. They use their social media reach to share accurate information, correct false claims, and encourage a smarter online community. And lastly, individual users like you and me also have a part to play. We need to be responsible online. Think before we share something and report false information when we see it. Learning how to tell what's true and what's not is important, and together we can make social media a better place by being a smart consumer of information. Potential involvement in radical ideology or action. First is the dealing with radical ideologies and its challenge. Addressing radical ideology on social media is not straightforward. First is about finding a balance between stopping false information and allowing people to express their thought fairly and legally. Some of the false information is linked to religious discussion and making it hard to tell what extreme. Plus, many who spread these ideas stay hidden online, making it tricky to control them, and social media crosses borders, so different countries and platforms must team up. But it's not only about removing fake content, it's also about tackling the issue that push people towards extreme belief and like social problems and mental health. And the second one is a deepening divide and their impact. When extreme Islamic ideas spread online, it can create division between different religious and culture groups. This happens because such as idea can make people think it's us against them and leading to more disagreement and even fight. Also, when false information is shared, it can make people who don't know much about Islam believe in negative stereotype and which can lead to unfair treatment and Islamophobia. So, this idea can cause tension between Muslim and people of other faith, which can lead to problem or hurt relationship.
So I will be explaining about research methodology, where it will be break down into two parts, which is research design and data collection methods. For our research designs, our study used a mixed method research approach, which combine both qualitative and quantitative methodologies to comprehensively explore the issue of religious misinformation associated with Islam. The qualitative methodologies involve engaging with individuals to gain their personal insight and diverse perspective regarding the misinformation of Islam on the social media. Concurrently, our quantitative approach entails the systematic collection of data through surveys, enabling us to quantify and analyze the prevalence and statistical dimensions of the misinformation. By integrating these methods, our aim is to create a comprehensive understanding of the multifaceted nature and impact of religious misinformation within the realm of social media. For data collection methods, we use Google Forms to ensure a broad spectrum of participants from various segments of society. The data collection encompass crucial demographic details such as age, religious affiliation, and specific social media platforms utilized by respondents. Our primary goal was to discern predominant trends among this diverse group. This collected data go through an analysis to create visual representation in the form of statistical charts, including pie charts and bar graph. These graphical representation were instrumental in illustrating and differentiating the distribution and proportion of responses received from the participant. This approach allows us to visually compare and interpret the various viewpoints, providing a clear and easily understandable snapshot of the prevailing trends within the surveyed demographic.
So I'll be presenting about the findings and discussion. So our first findings is about demographics, and we have 4 aspects about it. So for the first one is age. The majority of our respondents are from 18 to 19 years old age group, which accounting for 66.7%. The next largest group of respondents are from 20 to 21 years old age group and accounting for 16.7%. So the remaining respondents are from a variety of age group. So the next one is gender. Mostly our respondents are male, which accounting for 56.7%, and the remaining are female, which accounting for 43.3%. Okay, so the next one is religious affiliations. Majority of our respondents are Muslims, accounting for 93.3%, and the other remaining respondents are from Christian religion, which took 6.7%. And even though our form has Hindu or Buddhist, we have no respondents from them. Okay, so the last one for demographics is social media usage. Instagram is the most popular social media platform with 90% of respondents using it, and the next one is TikTok with 70% of respondents using it, and Twitter for 73.3%, and the last one is Facebook, which took about 26.7% of respondents using. Okay, so the next one, findings about awareness and exposure. So about the exposure, majority of respondents use social media daily, and only small percentage of respondents, about 3.3%, use social media weekly, and no respondent use social media monthly, rarely, or never. So about the awareness, the majority of respondents, 90% of it, believe that they have encountered Islam-related information or content on social media that is misleading or false, and minority of respondents have not. So this one is about findings of types of misinformation. So for the first one, misinterpretation of Islamic teaching. So our respondents occasionally encountered with this one. And then the next one is selective reporting, and it's also occasionally encountered by the respondents. Memes or satirical content, it's also occasionally, and fake news or hoax related to Islam. Most of respondents encountered this occasionally. So next one is out of context quotation from Islamic texts. Most of respondents frequently encountered this, and stereotyping or stigmatization of Muslim. Most of respondents encountered this frequently too, and conspiracy theories involving Islam. Most of respondents encountered this frequently too. And lastly, misinformation about Sharia law. And most of respondents encountered this occasionally. So for the next one, I'll be presenting about the findings of impacts and responses. So we have three aspects about impacts and responses. So for the first one, how misinformation can affect people. So 50% of our respondents say that religious misinformation has a significant impact on people, and 43.3% has said that it's a moderate impact towards a person, and 6.7% said that it has minimal impact, and no respondent said there's no impact involved. So the next one is, did respondent know someone that affected by the misinformation? So for it, 53.3% of respondents deny about it, and 46.7% say that they know someone. So the next one is, did respondents fact check about the content? 83.3% of respondents did check the fact, and 16.7 respondents do not. So the next one is our findings about combating misinformation. So our first question was, should social media be more proactive and in curbing misinformation on social media? So 96.7% respondents agree that social media need to be more proactive, and 3.3% disagree. And so the next one is implementing strategies. So 96.7% respondents agree that social media platforms should implementing strategies and initiatives to curb this misinformation. So the last one, discussion. So the survey found that majority of respondents, 90% of them, have encountered Islam-related information or content on social media that they suspected was misleading or false. Then the majority of respondents, 50%, believe that Islamic misinformation can have significant impact on individuals and communities. And then most respondents do fact check before sharing information, so that's a good one. And then the majority of respondents, 96.7%, believe that social media platforms should be more proactive in addressing and curbing the spread of Islamic misinformation. And then lastly, almost all respondents believe that specific strategies or initiatives should be implemented to combat Islamic misinformation on social media. So our survey findings suggest that Islamic misinformation is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. Social media platforms have a responsibility to do more to combat the spread of misinformation, including Islamic misinformation. This includes developing and implementing effective policies and practices, investing in technology that can identify and remove harmful content, and educating users about the dangers of misinformation.
Last but not least, for the final part of our presentation, conclusions. So what we can conclude from our research is that it has become more difficult for users of these social media platforms to distinguish between good and bad information, good and wrong information as technology advances. For instance, these platforms don't have like any verification, don't need any verification to create a social media account. Thus, it is so easy to impersonate a religious teacher online. Um, to spread misinformation. Especially from this research, we can see that it is impersonating religious teacher is a frequent causes that leads to Islamic misinformation. And next, in order to effectively combat this issue, a variety of strategies must be implemented, including as media literacy training, Islamic education, and community-led campaigns to prevent Islamic misinformation through social media. And lastly, Islamic misinformation would contribute to the rise of Islamophobia and widening rifts between Muslim communities in Malaysia if taken lightly. Hence, lawmakers, social media organizations, policymakers, religious authorities, and users all have responsibility to work together to lessen the effect of this issue. So for our research, there are a few limitations. Then the first one is the size of the sample, which is a total of 30 respondents, may limit the generalizability of our findings. And the next one is the questionnaire-based data gathering method, which is the only method used in this research, may restrict the scope of our data analysis and conclusions. And lastly, suggestions for future research regarding this title is to have a larger size of sample for better generalization. And next is to use various methods for data collection, such as interviews for a more concise data analysis and conclusion. That's all from our group. Thank you.